Hello everyone again in English Language Integrated Skills. This is with you, teacher Taha Abu-Horia in meeting number 7. Today we are going to discuss technical writing. In this lecture we are going to speak about two topics, business letters, technical writing. One of the most important lecture is today, so please pay attention from the beginning. We have two types of writing. We have studied the first type previously in the previous lectures, which is the academic writing. Academic writing and technical writing, two types of writing. The first one, which is academic, as we studied before, like writing paragraphs or essays. And we have studied how to write a paragraph, and we have introduction about how to write an essay. Today, our concern is writing technically, technical writing. And technical writing is like writing letters, memos, memorandums, and reports. How can we write technically and when? Technical writing has to be done briefly and accurately. This is how we are writing technical writing. We have to write briefly and accurately. These two points are very important. Briefly and accurately, which means don't go in very specific and small details, and at the same time you have to be accurate. Speak about the important ideas that you have to write. Why do we need to be in writing in a brief way or an accurate way? Both. Actually, because we have the letter or the technical writing, the base of your technical writing has to be read quickly, and understood easily. Why should we write in a brief way? To be read quickly, because the one who will receive your writing, your technical writing, is not going to read your letter or your memo or reports for a long time. He has no long time. So to be read quickly and to be understood easily, and that's why you have to be accurate. You have to be clear. Make everything clear, obvious, to be understood easily. When do we use technical writing? This is the attractive question. When do we use this kind of writing? We know when do we use academic writing, paragraphs and essays. But when do we use the technical writing, letters, memos, reports? It is in business correspondence, which means in receiving and sending letters in companies, in the worlds of working, companies, organizations, hospitals, any place of working. And the world nowadays is very is developed a lot, so we are working in the business everywhere. So, and that's, as we said, in writing letters, memos, and reports. Let's start by the first topic, which is business letters. When and how do we use? What are the form of writing the business letters? We'll go step by step together to know how to write business letters. Basics in writing business letters. Here we have different basics, which means important things we have to pay attention to when we write business letters. Layout, which means the format, the body, the tone, and the style of writing. The layout, the body, the tone, and the style. We'll go step by step through these basics. Let's first have a look at the layout or the format of the letter. How we start, or how does the layout look like? The layout. Actually, the layout of business letter consists of different points, and all these points are important, which means and necessary. We cannot miss any one of them. We started by the addresses, then paragraphing, salutation, and subscription. 4 important points in writing in the layout or the format of the letter, business letter. Let's look how can we put all the steps together to make a business letter. How to write a business letters. Those steps are written in order of the layout and all the points of writing business letter. Number 1, write the address on the top right hand side. Write the address of the company that you are working in, that the writer of the letter is working in. Where on the paper? On the top of the paper. Where exactly? Which side? The left side or the right side? In the right side. After that, after the address, then number 2, the date of the letter. What is the date of the letter? When did you send the letter? Here we have actually 2 ways of writing dates. Either the British way or the American way. The UK way or the USA way. When you write day and then month and year, this is the British way, the UK. When you switch between the day and the month, and you write starting by the month and the day, and finally the year, this is the American way. Like these examples. In the UK, for example, 5 May 2018, while in the American way, you switch between the day and the month, starting by the month, then the day and comma and the year. The third step in writing business letter is the reference number. The reference number of the letter. Every letter should has number. All the letters in English in communication have to be in business correspondence has to have numbers. Every letter. We use numbers for easy reference. What is the reason of using numbers in letters? For easy reference. For example, if you want to write a letter related to language laboratory of college called CEMT, you can use the reference numbers such as CEMT language laboratory number 1. This is the reference number, which is written in the red font. Here is the reference number of the letter. And here, if you notice, as we said, why do we use business letters reference number? It is for easy reference. Because, for example, if you are dealing with this company a lot, and you send this letter today, and in the next month or in the next year, you want to have a look back to this letter, you will just look for this letter just by the number. Letter number 1, letter number 2, letter number 3, and like that. So once you just have a reference to this letter, you will just get it easily. Okay. Number 4, the step number 4 in writing business letter is write the name of the receiver, the receiver's name, the one who will receive or get your letter, and or his position, his job, what he is working, and his or her office address, the place that he is working in, the company that he's working or organization that he's working in. So this is the 4th step, very important and should be followed like this. So they are like rules and we should follow them. And what's written in the yellow one, the yellow piece, is like an example of writing all these together. They have to be one after the other. Mr. William Smith, for example, this is the name of the receiver, the receiver's name. After that, account manager. This is his position. What's his job? He's the manager of accountant. He's an accountant manager, account manager. Then component outsource Ltd Limited. This is the and office manager 50 Orchard Road All these are the receiver's office address, which means the place of the office that this person, the one who received the letter, is working at. Who is here? William Smith, Mr. William Smith. He is working at the company. Its name Component Outsource Limited. The office exactly is office manager, the head. Where exactly, in which street or route? It's on 50 Orchard Road. Here we have an interesting note. If you don't know the receiver's name here, if you are sending the letter to a company, but you don't know the name of the one who will receive your letter, in this case, what should we do? Only write the name of the company or organization, which means if you don't know the Mr. who will or Miss who will receive your letter at the company, just delete Mr. William Smith and account manager. Delete these two. Write directly the company or the organization details, the address of the office that you are sending the letter to. Salutation. What do we mean by the salutation? Very easy part. It's using one of these phrases like dear sir, dear madam, or sir. All these are called salutation. Once you write a letter, you have to use one of these phrases. You can write dear. Sometimes you write dear sir, dear madam, sir. Of course, you write dear sir when the one who received your letter is a male, not a female. Okay? Dear madam is with women, with female. Don't write dear madam Ali, dear madam Mr. Ahmed. No, because madam is with female. This is natural. You can write dear, then the person's name, normally without dear sir or dear madam. Dear, directly dear Mr. Ahmed or dear Dr. Thakur. In this way, you are just using dear, which is important, and this is one way of using the salutation. Dear Dr. Thakur. Here we have a point, a note, which is important, that we have to use a comma at the end of the salutation. At the end of the salutation, the last word of the salutation, you have to use after that a comma. Step number 6 in writing business letter is the subscription. Subscription here, it has different meaning in other places, but in writing business letter it has this meaning, which is using one of these phrases in the yellow page, which is like yours faithfully, yours sincerely, faithfully yours, sincerely yours. And if you just notice that by the end of these phrases you are just using a comma. And when do we use the subscription? After paragraphing. After using the body of the letter, after you write everything about the letter, you finish everything, you will just write the subscription. The subscription is writing your faithfully, yours, sincerely, faithfully yours, sincerely yours, and focus about capitalization and punctuation. The subscription is written at the bottom. Where exactly? At the bottom left or at the bottom right. It's at the bottom of your paper. And where exactly? It is at the bottom left or right. It's not in the top, not in the middle of the paper. At the bottom, either left or right, both of them are correct. And why do we use the salutation? It's to show the sign of respect. Yours, after you finish writing your CV, your business letter, you are showing respect to the one who will read or who will get your letter. So you are showing respect. After the subscription, we use phrases like this. One of these phrases, you can say best regards, warm regards, thank you very much, and so forth. After you have one of these phrases, sign your name. Don't write or type your name. sign. Sign means signature. Write your name in a signature way, in a signing way, which means you'll just write like this. For example, Riyadh Tamish. Here in this way, you are using a specific tool on Microsoft Word. Here we have different fonts. If you just go through the fonts in Microsoft Word, when you type your letter, you'll find different fonts. When you go and find the font that you can say that all the letters are connected to each other, this is a helpful one to be in a signing way, because we cannot sign your name. We say sign your name, which means write your name in a font that the letters show that they are connected or linked to each other. After you sign your name in a line, directly below the signature, write your full name. Write your full name, Riyadh Tamish, for example. You write Riyadh Tamish, just full name. That means first name and last name. It doesn't mean your first name and your father's name and your grandfather's name, and that's no. It is just your first name and your last name. But you will use a common font in Microsoft Word, just like Time New Roman or any other font. Finally, below your name, you will give your position. What's your job? Here we have, finally, we have an example showing the subscription and how can we write them all together. It's like this. For example, yours sincerely, this is the subscription. Then we use one of these phrases like best regards, warm regards, thank you very much, or something like that. Then you will sign your name. This is the signature, like William Smith, but it's in the signature way, in the sign way. After that, your full name, William Smith, and finally your position, the position of the position of the name, which is here customer service manager. The last step in writing business letter is the inclusion. The inclusion means the things that you any other things other than the letter that you are writing, that you can attach or give it with the letter itself. For example, if you apply for a job, here the includers are going to be like what? Like a copy of your CV, copies of the mark sheets at your, for example, at the university, at your college, copies of certificates, your certificates or qualifications, reference letters, some of the reference letter. So you have here by the end, the last part in the business letter is to give the includers. If you don't have includer, don't mention includer. But if you include something, if you attach something to the letter, you have to write at the end of the letter includer, the word includer. And we'll have an example, a model of a business letter. We'll discuss it together in Google Classroom together when we have the lecture. It's time to practice. This time for practice actually is going to be in the Google Classroom itself. We'll have a model for business letter. Now we are going to be speaking about CV. And CV is a short form or abbreviation of curriculum vitae. It's a French word, not English. Curriculum vitae. CV or resume, the same meaning. What's the meaning of the CV or the resume? And we'll speak about the how to write the CV and how can we make it interesting and attractive in an attractive way. First of all, what do you mean by the CV or the resume? Actually, the CV is a brief report of a person's educational qualifications. Your qualifications, educational qualifications, your certificates, the qualifications that you got at school, at college, at any place, those are called qualifications. Skills, the skills that you have, you can do them. Abilities, experience, all these together are making up a CV. When you apply for a job, with a job application, when you apply for a job, you are using the CV. When do we use the CV? When you apply for a job. It is important to follow the right way to write the CV in order to make your CV letter stand out among others. Because when you find a job, you'll find this job in an advertisement anywhere, in a newspaper, in a magazine, on like these days on Facebook, or anywhere, or on the streets you can find it. Once you find the ad, expect that many other people will apply for this job, and this is the reality. So your CV is going to be among other CVs, other people's CVs. So how can we be successful in writing our CV to stay and stand out among all these other CVs, to make the reader or the employer or the company that we are applying for to be attracted by our CV, which means to be one of the candidates, one of the selected people to for that job that we are applying for. Here we have the answer. How to make your CV letter stand out? By these ways. First of all, use a good envelope. Try to have a good envelope. Your envelope, which means the page that you put your CV inside. It's the page that you put your CV inside. Try to have a good one, attractive one. Use A4 paper. The kind or the type of paper should be A4. A4. Type it in a computer. Don't write your CV by your hand. You have to type it in a computer. Also, in both sides, which means on the right side and on the left side, you have to leave spaces of 1.5 inches. And when we say you have to leave size, that means you have to. Because some CVs, when you say some CVs, they write from they don't leave any they are called like margins, spaces, on the left and on the right. They make the CV unclear. So also other points is to use the font 12. The font size, the size of the font should be 12, because the size of the font has numbers 2, 3, 5, 6. So use number 12. The font type is either to use Times New Roman or Helvetica. One of these two. Don't use any other type of font. We have a lot of fonts in Microsoft Word. You will find a lot. But what should you use? What's the type of the font? Either Times New Roman or Helvetica. The letter should have no language errors. This is also very important. If the one who read your letter and find any errors or mistakes in the language, which means in grammar or in punctuation or in ordering your CV, you'll be cancelled. So try to avoid these errors or mistakes to be selected, to stand out among other CVs. Also, one of the mistakes is typing errors. When you type, you have some errors in typing, which means spelling mistakes in typing. And also try to avoid lies. Don't be a liar. Try to be just saying the truth. Finally, modify your CV according to the specific needs of the job. And this is a very important point. If you just say that you have a CV and I'm ready, everywhere I have a CV and I can apply everywhere, it's actually not. Once you apply for a job today, after a month, you will have different information added or cancelled and like modified or changed in your CV. Why? It's according to the time and to the space, to the place that you are applying for, to the company and to the job that you are applying for. For example, today you are applying for a job of like a secretary. The ads of the job, they have some conditions, and you are trying to in your CV to achieve these requirements or conditions that are needed or required in the advertisement. So you will have some adaptations or modifications for your CV according to the needs of the job that you are applying for. Next day, you will apply for another job, for example, account assistant. In this new job, you will have different needs, other requirements. The one who actually is looking for this account assistant need different conditions or different terms are different from the one who was asking for a secretary. So two different jobs have different needs or requirements. So according to the needs of this job and that job, you have to make some modification or some changes for your CV to be accepted in the for the job. Now, what do employers look for, or what do companies or organizations look for? Before writing your CV, analyze yourself, your skills, and try to understand what the employers actually look for. Study yourself, your skills, your qualifications. What do you have before you apply for the job, and then try to make like a comparison between the skills and the qualifications that you have and the job that you are applying for, or what the company wants from employees. Employers or companies are looking for someone who is hardworking, number one, and has good communication skills. Those actually in common are the most requirements or needs that employers or companies are looking for. They are searching for people who are hardworking and who have good communication skills, because these are the most preferable ones, and every company wants a person who is hardworking, a person who can achieve something, who will work a lot and achieve something for the company. At the same time, they are looking for someone who has good communication skills. They want the person who can deal in an excellent way with others. He's a great and good communicator. He can communicate and interact in the society with other people, the people who are dealing with the company. He is going to help them and attract them and make the company for them an interesting and as an amazing company or organization. Remember, in the CV, do not only mention your academic qualifications. This is what we said. Academic qualifications, we are mentioning them as we said in our CV or resume. But at the same time, also don't forget to mention other skills. Some other skills that you don't study them, you don't have certificate for them. You are just learning them from the surrounding, from your life, in the environment and with your experience with people and when you work here and there. Other skills like what? Like leadership skills and organizational skills. The skills that prove that you are a good leader. You can work as a leader for groups. These are skills preferable most of the time with employers. At the same time, organizational skills. They want to understand that you are a person who is working in and who is ordering himself. He's organized. He is not working in an order way. He's ordering himself. His work is all the time ordered and organized. So you have the skill of organizing your time, yourself, even your dressing, your put on. So from your look and also from your reactions, from your behavior. So you want a person who is have the character of a leadership, who have the character of being a leader, and at the same time who is an organized person. Also, other skills like those skills are preferable, like knowledge of computers. Knowledge of computers, especially nowadays, because of the environment that is very developed and improved in the world of technology using computer. Everywhere, whenever you want, you will find that computer is needed. So if you have the knowledge of computer, this is one of the skills that most of the companies, even if you just look for if you just look at like a grocery or supermarket or any simple place for work, you'll find that computer is there. So if you have the background and you can use computer in an excellent way, you will be accepted when you apply for a job. Other skills also, like special skills like knowledge of a foreign language. If you have the ability to speak other languages like English, Spanish, French, any other language, this is also preferable. And in particular English, because English is the language of the language number one in the world. But it doesn't matter if you have other ability or skills in speaking or writing or any other language, it's also preferable. Now, how can we organize the materials? Which means, how can we order all these things and like a points of writing your CV or resume? Actually, those are not steps. They are not put in order, but those are like points that helps us in writing a CV. Number one, put the qualifications and experiences that you have in the reverse chronological order. What does that mean, to put the qualifications and experiences in the reverse chronological order? It means to put the last qualification or experience first. The last qualification that you get in your career, in your life, last certificate or last qualification, put it the first one. And then the one which comes after, before. So you will come in the reverse, which means the opposite chronological order, which means you will put your qualifications and at the same time your experience, which means the experience that you have working at some places before you come and apply in this job. You have worked before. So these experiences, for example, if you work at a school for 1 year and you work at a company as a secretary for 2 years, and you work as a translator for 2 years. So all these are called experiences. So put the last one that you did and you have in your career, in your life, put it the first one, and the opposite, put them in the opposite order according to the time. 2. Present the academic qualifications with or without a box. It doesn't matter. You have 2 ways to present or to have or to put the academic qualifications and at the same time your experiences, with a box or without a box. And actually we will have a model for CV written written with box, and another model. It's written without box. So, and we will know what's the difference and which one is better. Here, he said, but perhaps they are easier to understand in a box. If you want to make it more understood, which means the one who will look at your CV, he will understand it fast, and it will be easier for him when you put it in box. But both of them are correct, and without box or with box, both of them are two ways of writing CVs. If you have no experience, and this is very common with people who have just graduated from colleges or universities. If you just finished your school, you didn't have any experience before. Maybe you worked before, but most of the time you just finished your studying at the college, so you don't have any experience before. What should you do if you are put in such a case? Actually, here you do not have to pay attention to this point, which means don't write it. Don't write experience. Don't write the subtitle experience and leave it empty or nil. No, you have not to write the experience at all. Why? Because the one who will read, he will focus about the experience. When you write experience, you will pay his attention to the experience. But if you leave it empty, it will be fine. Draw attention to any summer training you have done, like English courses, computer diploma, and so on. If you have been without a job for a while, for a time, and this is sometimes happened, if you stop like 2 years or 1 year for this time and you don't have a job, you didn't work anywhere. In this case, focus on the gaps. This gap, this time that you stopped without working in your career, in your life, in your working life, and fill the gaps. Try to fill it with what? With some courses you have been at the same time. You have get at the same time. Some other courses, like if you have English courses, at the time that at the gaps, at the time that you continue and stayed without a job, try to fill it with courses of English, of French, of computer, of anything, to avoid, because when you employers and organizations and companies, they focus about this point. So try to pay attention. Here, what happened when there are gaps in your academic career or in your functional career, in your life as a worker? And what's the solution, do you think? What will be the solution for this problem? Actually, the functional CV or resume is the solution. Is a good idea to be used in this case. Why? And what's the meaning of functional CV or resume? Actually, we use the functional CV or resume because the functional resume does not need dates. We don't actually mention in such kind of CVs the dates of your certificates, the dates of your experiences, the dates of anything. So we just write what we have as experiences without dates. For example, you will say, I have been working for 2 years as a translator, but I didn't mention the date, the starting point and the end point. For example, you will say, for 2 years, starting at 2016 till 2018. If you mention it like this, that means you didn't use the functional resume. But if you have gaps in your career, in this case, do not mention 2016 till 2018, because here is the solution. Don't use the dates to avoid being asked, where have you been during these years? you have been working or not. So you will be put in like a bad situation. The functional resume or CV is useful for people who have little job experience, who have not working for a long time. Do not be untruthful in writing your CV, which means don't make lies. You have to see the truth. Believe, you have to see only the truth. Don't try to give some lies in your CV and say that, for example, I have the ability in working with Photoshop program in computer, and I can design many things and work with it in an excellent way. Once you just give such ability or experience, or that you have the skill in such thing, you will be actually asking, because lies have short wings. This is a proverb in English, says lies have short wings. Why? See the truth. Just see the truth. Because at the time of the interview, after you just apply for the job, they will get your CV. They will say that you are an excellent one. Okay, we will contact him. We will contact this person. Then they will ask you. You will be in an interview, and you will be asking about what you have written in your CV. Everything. In this case, if you just make lies, you will be put in an embarrassed situation, and finally you will be rejected. This is the idea. You will be rejected. So you will be asked some questions, and they will discover that you are a liar, and you will not have the chance to apply again. So just see the truth and nothing. Last thing is proofread your CV after writing. After you finish writing your CV, check that your CV is written clearly and briefly. As we said in the beginning, try to be writing in business. When you write technical writing, in business letters, in CVs, cover letter, we'll come to study everything. So you have to be just brave. Speak in brave. And you have to be clear at the same time. So your CV must be written clearly and briefly. Check after you write your CV that you have achieved these 2 points: clearly written and briefly written. Also check that your CV has no errors in grammar, vocabulary, punctuation, all these things, because if they found such things, you will be maybe will be cancelled, because they will see that these simple mistakes in punctuation, or simple in mistakes or errors in vocabulary or grammar, which means he's not a good one. CV model, actually we have 2 CV models. One of them is with boxes written in box, and the other one is without boxes, and we'll discuss these 2 models when we have the class in Google Classroom, when we come to the class. By the end, I want to thank you about listening and watching. I was with you, teacher Abu-Horia. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to ask me any question. I will be very welcome for any question. Your assignment by the end of the lecture will be to write a CV about yourself. Write a CV about yourself. We'll understand that we will come to give the model. After you say the model, you'll understand more and more. Thank you very much for listening and watching again, and goodbye.